Hello YouTubers, I'm glad to see you back for some more narrowboat punishment. In today's episode I'm going to show you a few of the trials and tribulations that us solo boaters have to go through when we're out here. I mean 99% of the time it's lovely, but you do get a few episodes where it don't go right. And I hope that you enjoy it. If you do, give us a little like. And if you like it a lot, give us a little subscribe. How you going, alright? We're just leaving the Spiceball Park area of Banbury on the start of another new adventure. That's the thing about this narrowboating. You never know what's going to happen when you set off. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Mostly good, fortunately. It's a funny old setup with the moorings in Banbury. When you look at one of the signs, it says you're allowed 14 days, but when you read the small print, it's like 3 days here, 3 days there. They mean 14 days in actual Banbury itself. So you have to keep moving. We're coming up to the town centre. It's all very modern here. We've got a big old shopping mall and a lot of places to eat. Comes in handy now and again. Coming up in front of us, not far away, is a lift bridge. There's a problem with it though, is the mechanism is on the off towpath side. Once I open it, I can't get back to Aitch to take it through. But lucky enough there's someone in front of me, or another boat going along not far in front of me, and I'm hoping to go through with them. But I've just noticed they've wound it down. Thanks very much. If you look over there to the right, it's Tully's historic boatyard. Probably one of the most famous on the Canal system. Strange, but it's sort of stuck amongst all the modern shopping malls and buildings. Must have been like a preservation order on it, I think. It's alright, panic over. There was another narrowboater walking by. He noticed what happened and helped me do the bridge. There's the culprits over there. Don't even know they've done anything wrong, I'd say. They're holiday boaters. You can't blame them. The boat in front of me's already gone through, and I've come down to help this other boat come up. And then it's my turn. There's a facilities point the other side of the lock. Even that looks modern. So yeah, we're on our way out of the actual town centre of Banbury now. And I'm not going to go too far because I've got some things I've got to do, and it's very handy to be near a town centre for a while. So I plan to moor up in the next place that I think looks safe. And this is where I ended up. Not the most beautiful of moorings, but it served a purpose, I suppose. onward we go, and I'm probably going to do about a mile today, just enough I suppose to keep the CRT off me back. I'm not really a lover of mooring in and around towns, but when you've been out in the wilderness a while, it's a nice novelty to be able to buy stuff, food. You having a good look around, Ash? Good boy. The static camera that I usually use on top of the boat has given up the ghost, so I'm having to film this a little bit shaky by hand and drive the boat at the same time, which, to be honest, men like me are useless at multitasking. Got a little bit of a challenge coming up. I'm trying to film going through this little gap under the lift bridge and steer it in at the same time. You see I'm going all over the place. And I'm not sure that the chimney's going to go through unscathed. No problem, at least a millimetre to spare. Now ain't that lovely to see a bit of countryside after being surrounded by buildings for quite a while? Uplifting, I'd say. I'm about a mile outside of the town centre now, so I'm looking for somewhere to moor up. Could have moored there really, but I'm gonna see if there's anything the other side of the bridge that I'm coming up to. I can see a boat up there, so there must be moorings. Graffiti artists have decided they want to decorate this lovely old bridge, but I think it was better how it looked before, to be honest. This looks like it's going to be me and Ashby's home for a few days. Doesn't look too bad. Today's target is a place called Twyford Wharf, and we've got one lock to negotiate before we get there, and a few of these I'd say. That's the M40 motorway making another appearance. Seems like it's following me. I always seem to get a feeling of dread, stress when I see motorways while I'm out here. If that's the same with any of you other boaters that are watching. I think it reminds me of times in my life when I wasn't living out amongst all the peaceful countryside, and I obviously wasn't as relaxed. It also reminds me that every day that I live out here I feel blessed. Right, we're coming up to the one and only lock that I'm going to do today. And I'll show you this one in a bit of detail. It looks like there's an old abandoned lock cottage on this one. Looks a bit like a haunted house from here. When I see old houses like this, I wonder why they've been left just to rot, because it looks structurally okay. Perhaps it is haunted. I'm going to have to fill this lock up so that I can bring Aitch in. They say it's a waste of water, but there's no shortage of water at the moment. Good job I wasn't standing over that, so I'd have probably jumped into the canal. It's getting there, about another foot. Whoops, nearly ended up on my arse. I bet that would have made you laugh. If I would have had some crew, I would have already been going down in the lock by now. But this is what it's like for a solo boater. Just got to take your time. There's no other boats around, so I'm not holding anybody up. For the non-boaters that are watching, there's a couple of things that you have to look out for when you're going down in a lock. Got to make sure that you don't come down onto the sill, which is at the back of the boat, or the back of the lock, and make sure that you don't get caught up on the front gate as you're coming down. Going to do the one paddle for now, about halfway. Just having a quick look to make sure that Aitch is not getting hooked up on the front there. Then I'll go and check on little Ashby, because he panics a bit when he can't see me when he's in the lock. Notice that I'm still checking the front. And now that it's all calmed down, I'll go and open the other paddle. This is where I started having some problems. The gate wouldn't shut properly. I've had a look down there and I can't see anything that's stopping it from closing. So I'm going to pull it out, or pull Aitch out, by just the rope. see how we get on. Because it's a bit doubtful whether I'm going to squeeze the boat through this gap. I didn't want to get down here and drive the boat into the gate and damage it. Looks like we're stuck. Now we're proper stuck. That poor little sod down there, just wondering what's going on. Alright boy, if he could talk, he'd be saying, "Don't leave me here, Dad." So I was left with no choice other than to climb down and try and drive the boat through slowly. And luckily enough, started moving. Aitch is probably losing a bit of blacking as we're scraping through here, but my main priority was not to damage the lock gate. Thank God for that. Looks like we've got through without damaging anything. Going to stop here and close the gates and the paddles. Good little dog. Glad to see the back of that one. I'll tell you about a few other trials that I'm going to be facing on the Oxford. I was planning on spending Christmas in Oxford, or the town of Oxford, or the city of Oxford, but just in front of me, a few miles, there's a closure. I think it's Little Hayford, and when that's finished, there's more closures between me and Oxford. So I'm kind of thinking I'm not going to make Oxford for Christmas. I don't want to be stuck out in the middle of nowhere with no shops or anything, so I'm thinking that I will turn around and go back to Banbury and spend Christmas there. At least I'll be able to buy Christmas presents and the like. So we'll see how we go. My plans are always changing while I'm living out here, but that's okay. I'm going to moor up here. I'm having a look past these boats, see if there's any space. It doesn't look like it. So I'm going to reverse back and moor up here. There's a bit of side wind here pushing Aitch into the bank, but I'll just use it to my advantage. The way the wind is pushing Aitch's bow over to the left, I can't reverse into the gap or the space, so I'll just change it into forward gear and let Aitch drift in. I'll probably moor here for a couple of weeks before I turn round and head back to Banbury, and that should keep CRT happy. And while I'm here, I might as well show you the metropolis that is Twyford Wharf. Ashby looks like he needs to let off a bit of steam. He can be so noisy sometimes, but it's just me and him, so I'll have to be his little playmate. That's better. You'll be able to hear me talk now. I can hear some of you saying, it's not better, I'd rather you shut up. There's not much here. You've got a winding hole that I just showed you, and a little boatyard with a small hire fleet. And that's about it really. We're not far from the village of King Sutton, which has got a shop, but other than that, nothing. Well, thanks for coming along and putting up with me parroting on about narrowboats, and I hope to see you next time.